Hello, welcome, and thanks for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Domansing. Part of downtown Christiansted remained on shutdown Tuesday. A propane truck that had been leaking since Monday triggered a government-wide emergency response. VI Fire Services, Police, Tourism, DPNR, and Health and Human Services all responded to help drain the leaking tank. Officials say 2 attempts to transfer the fuel to another truck failed Tuesday. News 2's Erica Parsons has more.
2 hotels and several businesses in downtown Christiansted were evacuated Monday evening. Those operations remain closed today. The reason for the shutdown, a 25,000-pound propane truck that sprung a leak.
It's a propane truck that was here, came to fill up the propane tanks for both the CARAVELLE Hotel and Rum Runners restaurant. And the truck, as it was refueling or during some process at that point, had a leak.
Fire services responded to the call around 6 Monday evening, along with other first responders. VITEMA activated its Emergency Operations Center to coordinate local efforts, and a joint statement was released from Government House. Almost 100 hotel guests from Hotel CARAVELLE and Holger Dance, along with visitors to the area, were evacuated.
For safety concerns, they evacuated all the guests from the restaurants and the hotel last night, and they're monitoring the truck. There's still gas in the truck, and it's still leaking.
According to the statement, the propane truck belongs to Antilles Gas. We tried to get a hold of the owner for comment, but he wasn't available. We're told they did help with the response efforts Monday night, but there's still a possibility the truck could be there for several days.
From what we're hearing and how much gas may be still in the truck, that it could be a while before it's completely gone.
When the leak was first detected, the tank was 80% full. Unofficially, News 2 learned it would be tough to move the tank because of where the leak is coming from. Police have blocked off the area surrounding the tank, and efforts continue to secure and contain the leak. Erica Parsons, News 2.
As of news time, the truck was down to about 30% capacity. Fire officials say the threat to the public is minimal, and they will continue to drain the tank. The territory might have recovered from the devastation brought by Tropical Storm Otto back in 2010, but residents of St. John are still suffering from its effects. We follow up on an appeal made by St. Johnians and why, according to them, it is a matter of life and death. News 2's April Knight has that story.
As you drive along Centerline Road on St. John, be careful as you get closer to Coral Bay. That part of the road looks ready to collapse.
It's really a very serious safety issue.
The damage is pretty severe. The largest cave-in eats up half the road, falling into a steep precipice. Beneath the asphalt, the soil continues to erode. Signs, markers, and barricades mark the damaged areas, but even those fall into the hole. Centerline Road took the worst damage from Tropical Storm Otto in 2010. It eroded large chunks of land, supporting what locals consider the most important road on the island.
Well, that's almost 3 years. That is our only road in and out of Coral Bay that can hold emergency vehicles, any kind of big trucks, delivery trucks.
Centerline Road on St. John is the only supply route that connects East End and Coral Bay to the rest of the island. With this gaping hole continuously deteriorating for the past 2 years, St. John residents decided to take matters into their own hands.
I shut my business down for the morning so we could go up to the hole in the road to get the signatures that we wanted on the petition.
Pam Gaffin spoke out loudly. Her house lies right under the eroded area, which at one point tore a hole through her bathroom. 6th graders from Guy Benjamin Elementary School wrote a letter to the legislature pleading for help.
We basically wrote to the government telling them that they need to fix it before somebody drives off there and basically dies.
The school buses travel there and it's really unsafe.
I just want to reiterate the commitment of the Department of Public Works, the government of the Virgin Islands, to the residents of St. John. We recognize that this road poses a serious concern.
The Department of Public Works did say that the road should be fixed by March of next year.
But that's March. That road isn't going to be there.
Even now, more cracks are already forming, and St. John residents fear that Centerline Road might not survive the hurricane season. April Knight, News 2.
St. Johnians are still urging the VI government to speed through the paperwork and act on the repairs of Centerline Road immediately. We will keep you up to date on this story. Bonus commodities from the United States Department of Agriculture will be distributed this Saturday on St. Croix. News 2's Shaniqua Robinson has more.
A diverse commodity package consisting of fruits, vegetables, proteins, and much more will be distributed to families in need here at the Charles H. Emanuel Elementary School cafeteria on Saturday, June 29th.
This is an established program, and the name of it is the Emergency Food Assistance Program. If we had, let's say, functioning food banks in the community, we could funnel our food through that avenue. But since we don't, and we have a relatively small entitlement for the program, currently the department is actually handling the distribution of the commodities, which happens annually.
To receive commodities, individuals or heads of households must be identified as needy by meeting one of the following criteria. The gross family income must not exceed 185% of the federal income eligibility guidelines for July 1st, 2012 through June 30th, 2013, and must be a client of any of the following income certified assistant programs.
For anyone else wishing to self-certify, you would come and provide the information based on what your gross household income is, and we would go from there.
To obtain commodities, proper identification must be presented at the distribution site. Only one distribution package will be given per household.
If you meet the guidelines or come close enough, we will be able to offer you a package.
For more information on Syncor's USDA commodities distribution this Saturday, contact Federal Commodities Officer Corey Letzum at 774-0100 extension 2818. Shaniqua Robinson, News 2.
Well, again, the distribution will take place between 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. or while supplies last. The Supreme Court has made a ruling in a case that challenged part of landmark voting rights law, striking down a provision that was designed to protect minority voters. Danielle Nottingham has the latest from the Supreme Court.
The Supreme Court ruled part of the 1965 Voting Rights Act, passed to protect minority voters, especially in the racially divided South, is unconstitutional. The justices voted 5-4 that Congress must go back to the drawing board and come up with a new formula for determining which parts of the country may still need to get advanced federal approval before changing their election laws. Shelby County, Alabama brought the case, arguing the South has changed in the last 50 years and the advanced approval requirement is no longer needed.
The American South has integrated African Americans and minorities fully into its public life.
Our country has changed for the better since 1965, but the destination that we seek has not yet been reached.
A majority of the justices said Congress can't use 40-year-old data to determine which states still need pre-clearance to change voting procedures and must take into account racial progress. Civil rights leaders argue federal monitoring is still needed in some places, pointing to recent state laws that require voters to show government-issued photo IDs.
This decision by the court today is a game changer and leaves virtually unprotected minority voters in communities all over this country.
Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg was among the justices who voted against the ruling. She said the court is ignoring history. Danielle Nottingham, News 2.
Keeping our eye on the economy, some encouraging economic reports are bringing the buyers back to the stock market after days of heavy losses. A 34% plunge in sales of the Nook e-reader last quarter has Barnes & Noble rethinking its tablet strategy. The bookseller plans to pursue a partnership to help it make Nook HD tablets. The company will continue to sell Nook tablets in stores, but future devices might be co-branded with the new manufacturer's name as well as the Barnes & Noble logo. This is the New York Stock Exchange with Scotiabank's Stock Market Watch. The Dow, Nasdaq, S&P all up. The Dow 100, Nasdaq 27, S&P 14. Coming up on News 2, we continue to explore the cultural scene for Festival 2013. Highlights from the coronation, food fair, and a lineup of what's to come over on St. John. Well, as we reported on Monday, the 2013 St. John Festival's royalty, Queen Khadijah and Princess Faith Marie Sweeney, received their crowns Sunday afternoon in Cruz Bay during the coronation portion of festival events. The food fair also drew many to Love City. Here's some of the highlights. 2013 Festival Queen Khadijah Lee and Princess Faith Marie Sweeney received their crowns Sunday afternoon in Cruz Bay during the coronation portion of festival events. A ribbon-cutting ceremony was held.
It's a cultural scene for Festival 2013, and I would like to thank all the committee members for helping me with this magical moment. Thank you.
Today, I stand as Queen Khadijah Ann Lee the First. At 2013, please stay safe, no drinking and driving, and respect each other as we go forth in Love City's cultural scene for Festival 2013. Thank you.
After the ribbon was cut, the food fair was officially started, honoring Floressa Henley.
38 years at the Department of Human Services, 25 years at Caneel Bay, been involved with every festival. Let's all give a round of applause to the person that we honor, Ms. Hensley, this afternoon.
Boat races were also in full swing in the Cruz Bay Harbor.
We are a very special community. Today we have people coming from St. Croix, St. Thomas, Water Island, the British Virgin Islands. We have visitors that are here just coming out to enjoy the culture, the friendship, and the activity of St. John.
Now, coming up this Friday, June 28th, the Festival Village opens for business at 7 p.m. at the Cruz Bay parking lot, and the honoree is Steadwood Fred Sr. There will be music entertainment each night in the village leading up to July 4th for Juve at 4 a.m., Festival Parade at 11 a.m., then Festival Fireworks light up the sky at 9 p.m. About 500 guardsmen from across the territory took part in a 3-day training exercise to test their disaster readiness. The units were set up at Camp Arawak, the Armory, and Altoona Lagoon for the weekend.
We came up with the plan that we need to exercise the units in preparation of any natural disasters, which would include, as we know as usual, our hurricane, which we're in a hurricane season, but we also look at tsunamis and earthquake, and that's what the scenario for this weekend is basically surrounded off of. Our main function for this exercise up front is the water purification. Definitely we have the capabilities on a given day, 180,000 gallons that we can produce to potable water that can definitely use for drinking and mainly for showers that we're doing this weekend. I also have the capabilities under the battalion for engineering support. The band is in support of security, and then I have the HHC, which falls under 786, doing the brain cell of the operation.
Retired Colonel Eddie Charles, the senior Army instructor for the JROTC program at Ivana Udarkan High School in St. Thomas, said the finalists in the academic team competition of the JROTC's Junior Leadership and Academic Bowl, they held their own in Washington against their 9 challenging teams seeking the national championship for the Armory and all the armed services overall. For 2 days and 9 rounds of very, very fierce competition, they held their own amongst some of the nation's best and brightest in math, science, English, and social studies in some really grueling matches. They had onlookers in awe, he said. They earned their trophy and individual awards for being among the best of the nation's JROTC programs scattered across the globe. The team returns home on Tuesday from Washington. Book lovers on St. Thomas are devastated to learn that the Dockside Bookshop, the only bookstore on the island, will be closing soon. Dockside Bookshop has been suffering from financial setbacks since the recession began, and although management regrets having to make the decision, they decided Dockside could no longer sustain itself.
The main reason we're closing is because we can't pay our bills. We're not making enough money to pay our bills. And we do have a lot of expenses here that you don't have in the States. We have to pay for shipping from the States. We have to pay the cost of going through the excise and customs system, much higher power bill. You have to pay for equipment that is destroyed by the power fluctuations.
I don't feel good. I wish it could stay or move to another location, you know, that we can always have it.
Meanwhile, remember the governor's 5th reading challenge is on. It started June 21st and continues through September 13, 2013. Public, private, and parochial students between kindergarten and 8th graders in the VI, they're keeping track of their reading. If they complete 5 or more books, they will be invited to a fun day with the governor at the end of the summer. Books have already been distributed this month on St. Thomas, St. Croix, and this past weekend at the St. John Festival Food Fair. This year, Innovative Stevie 2 is a key sponsor. A summer bridge program kicks off on June 26 to help improve classroom performance and test scores in reading, math, library science, and computer. Using the theme, Accelerate While We Remediate, the Bertha Seba Shelton Middle School Summer Bridge Program organizers will be on the job, helping students hit the books from June 26 to July 19th, Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Now, for more information, you can call Ms. Gums. The number is 775-4048. Stick around, your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.